I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Here we are on Monday, December the 16th, and just a few short days away from that big holiday. Hope you guys are excited about this week of sports coming up. Bear with me momentarily. I don't know what happened, but downloaded all the wrong graphics pack. Just stay tuned. Just sit tight. I don't know what happened, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it right now. Right this very second. Fixing. And forewarning. I got a itchy trigger finger tonight, and I am ready to pull it. So behave yourselves. It's going to be a fun day. Big card. Despite a small slate of games, still a monster pack of games. So just sit tight with me for one more second. Well, I get this and that, and then I do this. And it's going to give me an error. Always does. Can't upload in batches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, of course, there's the error. The error is the first one. And away we go. Okay, that looks better. You know, I'm looking at the screen. I go December 13th. Man, I know the weekend was fast, but it feels like it's past December 13th. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's get into some games here. We've got 3 in the NHL slate. Talking earlier today with my guy Gonzo about this weird randomness that seems to be NHL scheduling. Maybe the schedule masters have something up their sleeves that, you know what it really, I think it comes down to? It's got to be the Cup of Four there, the Four Nations tournament, whatever they're calling it. The Four Nations tournament used to be the Canada Cup. Maybe that's going to impact things and why we've got some 14-day slates and some days with nothing. But that's okay. We've got some NBA as well. We've got 2 plays in the NBA. I've got one for you guys in college basketball, and then I've got the doubleheader. I've got 4 plays in the NFL tonight as well. So it's time to get to work. What a glorious Saturday we had. You know, I better check something here too. Let me check this too. Let me check. Okay. The Yeti mic is on. Just wanted to make sure. Wanted to make sure we were all set and ready to go, and now we are. And again, Saturday was a monster slate. Crushed it again for that final UFC card. So thank you guys all that came out and hung out with us. I know they're long, but you can't go anywhere. You can lock in. Dial in with us. Get this money. What a huge co-main event. What a massive main event. Buckley to KO in round 3 at plus 1,000. Really happens. You guys got to see it on screen to believe it if you haven't checked it out. And we'll be back. We'll be back in this coming year to get things rolling again. You know the deal. And we're going to find some additional Saturday stuff to bring you guys over the next couple of weeks. I know there's NFL that's going to start popping off on Saturday. I know we're going to have college bowl games as well. So plenty to do. But Sunday was, I give my grade on Sunday an F. Just an F. It was okay early. The 4 o'clock slate was tremendous. And then the Seattle game just didn't get it done. That is only the second team this season to lose after playing the Lions. Now, we'll see what happens this coming week with Buffalo, because Buffalo beat them Lions like little children that were misbehaving. And it was up. I felt bad watching that game, thinking about Lions fans. probably getting all excited. They're like, we're going to show them exactly what's going on. And they got shown. In fact, unfortunately, they lose David Montgomery as well. The 1-2 punch is down to 2-punch. And Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, my anticipation is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CEH, gets picked up by the Lions this week. That's my guess. Why do I guess that? Because he just got released by Kansas City. Pacheco's back. They don't need him over there any longer. And they have Hunt. And so you release a guy at this point early in the week to clear waivers so that he can get picked up by another team if you value the guy and his contributions to the organization. It's a goodwill move. And so I expect that to take place, and we'll see Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know officially. I'm just speculating. And that's what we do here. What else we got going on? What else happened in the world of sports? Of course, the Belichick news getting signed was what it was. It was a big deal out there. What else? Eagles handled the Steelers. Imagine fading the Eagles. Why would you do that? They dominated those boys. And Kansas City came through with the under. I told you guys last week that under was the spot out there. That was the early look ahead. What else? Kind of a head fake. They gave us a head fake in that Giants game early on Thursday in the week there. They were saying the entire practice, them boys hadn't completed a pass. So their team total under gets set at 13.5. It gets to 14. And how about them Cowboys? The Panthers are now what, like 0-100 in the favorite role, their last 100 games? Easy money out there. Outrights, too, we're talking. The Jags did me dirty. Did us dirty. I shared that one with you guys in the community tab. Scoring at the end of the game like they did to get a worthless win. That's why Aaron Rodgers is plump right there on the screen underneath the poop. He's on the poop list. Cardinals was easy victory. But them Packers, they look good. I'll tell you what. Some people laugh when I talk about the uniforms, but them white on whites, the boys get fired up, and they were excited about it, and they showed it. And, we had a couple of spots. I'll tell you what, go back to Friday. I gave you guys that Ottawa spot was the official, but I told you to play Ottawa in the under as well, right? That was a plus 450, I think it was. There was another special Jersey night going on out there. This time, it was fade the team in the Jersey night. If you look back and you see the schedule, you'll understand why. They do not like playing in those jerseys or in that circumstance. And that's just real. You got to pay attention to the tea leaves out there and see what the hell is happening across the landscape of sports. What else we got going on? What else do we have going on here? Well, let's see. You may have heard the rumors. We may be kicking on kick. Let's see. What else? And by maybe, I mean maybe at 8 p.m. Okay. How about last Friday? We lost just under a unit. It's the give and take. I told you guys with the Voos news, I was upset. I voided out the play because I had Voos parlayed with the money line to get like plus 150 or whatever. Turns out they didn't need him. They still busted him up. But that one didn't go the way I anticipated. What a waste. I gained like quarter of a unit with that game going on the entire time. But it's the way we do it. You guys can follow all the action on BetStamp. I know a lot of the gang here at Sports Money has moved into the BetStamp world, trying to automate this. Well, automate the tracking process here, making it a little bit easier for all of us to catch recaps. And recaps. What did we do here on Friday? Let's see. Well, we cashed the Ottawa Senators plus 172. It was a 3-0 final. Got beat up a little bit in the NBA. Over 232 in that Wizards and Cavs game gets to 220, so that's a loss. And Northern Iowa does not get there for us. 3 points short of that over. The Lakers continue to blow. Now listen. I want to go down that rabbit hole with what's going on with LeBron. I recommend you do it early in the day. It's a long one. There's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross out there. Colorado, though, the Buffaloes did get us that W against San Diego State. 9.5 points. They win by 11. Weber might have to get themselves on that list as well. I don't know why I like Weber so much, but I do. And the Clippers remain firmly on that list as well. We did cash our parlay. The Middle Tennessee FCS was tremendous for me over the weekend. And we cashed that teaser on almost to the exact score with the final results there. And then last but not least, we added, because we took off the Bulls game, we added the over in the Suns game, and that one smashed. That thing went over by like 25 points. So sounds like, well, it felt like it was worse than it was, right? I mean, 10 plays out there, just under a unit. So we got some work to do. We got to get back in the saddle. We got to go and attack the board tonight, and we are going to do just that. We've got, I think, a really, really good-looking card here in front of us here tonight. And wait till you hear some of these trends. Bunch of offer opportunities. I think my notes are put together like an asshole, so bear with me as I fumble around trying to get to where I'm trying to go with this thing. But it's not about the destination. It's about the journey that we take to get there. So if you've ever been to Hawaii, been to Maui, and gone to the road to Hana, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And let's get to work, you guys. You know the deal. Need your help. Support the cause. Support the community. Help us build this thing. You can do that a multitude of ways. We're listener supportive, but the most important thing you can do is hit that thumbs up button. So if you haven't done so already, close that comment section. Hit that thumbs up. Then pop the comment section back open, and we will get to work. Let's have ourselves a night. And shout out to a special Ixnizzle and Razor Sharp picks on their stream today. They were horse racing on Racing with Razor. Did cash an 81-1 exacta. Did cash that trifecta was just over 325-1, I believe, as well. So who knows? Woodbine Mohawks racing tonight. Yonkers is racing tonight. Tyler Butter should be in action. Just saying. Just saying out there. Let's get to work. Not to keep everybody, but I'm excited. We've got so much popping. You guys know the deal here. There's always something new going on. We got a couple things up the sleeve. We got some recipes we're cooking for you guys. Boy, close to the trigger being pulled on a couple of things here. So get ready. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a huge 2025. We've been building so much momentum and getting this thing moving in the right direction, and it's really all comes down to you guys coming in here on a regular basis with your contributions. You're sharing your best bets, giving angles, trends. We're a community. We're building together. We will win or lose together. But together is how we will do it. So don't find yourself on the outside of this community. You do not want to cross your boy Pimp Slap here. Pissed off at one particular person. And I'll address when the time's right. Joe T's in the house, though. Our first commenter. Joe T in the house. And he's giving you guys Air Force and Northern Colorado. And he's going over 141. He's also adding a two-team parlay. The Vikings team total over 24.5. And the Falcons team total over 23.5. I like a little plus 2-1-2 action there. Joe T, let's get it. Sharpen up them wrenches, boys. We are in zero tolerance land. And I tell you, my firm philosophy, if you're not here to help us make money and win in this community, here's my philosophy. Ready, fire, aim. Yeah. I don't like giving warnings. I believe in zero tolerance. And we will execute the shit out of it. So let's go. Shout out to Winner's Circles in the house. Oh, this is Falcons money line over 1.5 field goals. And Drake London over 5.5 receptions. Shout out to Joe W. This is Panthers money line. Nuggets money line for me. I like both the plays. Can't fault that whatsoever. Our guy, Justin McCalvey, gives us the first official, the first screen printed name here. The first moniker, the first slogan. Sports money is money. Shout out to you, Justin. Hopefully this is better. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I moved the mic away. Get a little excited. I went to go back and clip something, and I was like, man, I sound like a loud asshole. Nobody told me. So as long as you guys can hear me okay, we'll keep it going like this. I hate listening back to myself, let alone when I sound like a loud asshole and nobody told me. Robert McCormick, shout out to you, my guy. Gonzo posted on the community tab. He's in the black. Check out our guy with his best bet tonight is the Colorado Avalanche on the money line. That model is firing up. I know he had a great weekend. AOD's in the house. AOD, oldie. Says, boots off. What's up, you dirty dogs? There's M. Says, hola, buddy. And there's Jake Beasy in the house. Googly-eyed UFC ring girl. Good to see googly-eyed UFC ring girl. Shout out to Oldie. Says, I have no handicap. Play some stacks on me, sir. Stacks. RVD 420's in the house. Yeah. More. Let's piss me off, RVD 420. We're here to work. Now, fuck with the guys on screen. That's a problem for me. Irish King says, what's the move? Googly does like the Bears over 17.5 plus the Vikings money line. Nasty Nate. You don't want cracking stealing your gifts under the tree. The Dana Delp says, I need money to get 8 fantasy. Mooney. Mooney or money? I need money. But Mooney to get 8 fantasy points. That's going to be a fun game to kind of dissect a little bit and see what happens out there. Appreciate you guys supporting the like button out there. No, Barry, I know, Barry. I know. You're good. You're all good, my dude. Well, I think it came in as Barry, not Barry Roselle. But anyway, K Main's in the house. Subhuman Gaucho. Let's go. M says no UFC for a month. There's not. But what we decided and talked about is there's a lot of regional activity happening on Friday nights. And that's frankly where these guys do it even better than they do with the UFC. So we're going to have some members-only stuff popping up here on some Friday nights. Just part of that, continuing to give back to the members that do support us as we build this community. So stay tuned. There's Barry. Yeah, I got it. We got you, dude. We got you. Markel says, I hit the Clip Nation minus 15. I want to. I'll tell you how I would play that game. Let's go. Let's see what we're at. Let's see where we're at. Jay Main's got some action out there. The Futon bets. Rice team total under 76.5. Okay. So that's a Silent Rob winner over the weekend, a big winner in the UFC. Daddy Beats. Good to see Cameron Sinet, 0 tolerance. And you guys with the ones. Juggler 23 says rookie QBs equal 20 and 5 in their last 26 Monday night contest. Juggler 23 says the Vikings are 20 and 11 straight up, but only 9 and 22 against the spread in their last 31 games as all favorites. And QB Sam Darnold 6 and 11, 3 and 13 in his last 17 starts versus teams with losing records. Yeah, Textile, we're all there. We won't have to we don't have to stoop to that level. But shout out to Barry coming through, gifting the super sticker to bless the action tonight, getting us moving in the right direction. Barry, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you. You know you're good with us, my guy, and you continue to come in on a daily basis, representing, sharing your best bets, bringing positive vibes to the environment. We appreciate it. And you're double dipping for us, which we really appreciate. Coin says Denver team total under. Let's go. Shout out to Keith. Every stride's in the house. He likes the Raiders game over. 44.5. Irish King likes Denver. Steve likes the Vikes, the Cavs, the Clips at plus 110. Count your free cash. Okay. I can get down with that. David Delp, any college bowls? Yeah. Dude, I tell you. You guys may or may not believe me. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 2 in the last 2 days of college football action. You're damn right we're going to have a college bowl game show. Let's go. Let's make some money tonight, though. How about that? Let's get to work. Let's get after it. A little extended intro there. It was my fault. The technology was not up and running appropriately. But we're there now. We've gotten to the point of getting to the point where we take all them points from these bookies. Let's see what's going on here. We've got the 3 NHL games, as I mentioned to you guys, and I've got 3 plays in these NHL games, and I'm excited about all 3 of them here. We'll pop off, and the first game starts at, I don't know what's up with 8 o'clock today. Like, everything starts at 8 o'clock. But that's okay. It just gives us a little bit more time to coordinate ye head and ass, if you know what I'm saying. Charlie Lindgren's going to start in goal, and hopefully his head and ass are wired together. He's 9-5 at 2.66 goals against average and a 90.1% save percentage. He's going against Otter. Good old Jake Ottinger in this one, and look. Rotation galore for these Capitals. 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Why is that important? Because you got fresh goalies. You don't have to worry about anybody kind of rolling too deep or the tread starting to fall off the tires. It's excellent usage for a team that's shocking the hell out of everybody being in first place in the Washington Capitals. I thought they'd just be too old. I thought they were battling the Penguins for age. And while they might be, they're young in heart. They're young at heart. They're young souls. And then if you look overall, again, that 14-game sample, we've got Lindgren coming in here with a 4-game winning streak. Shutting people down. 22 of 24 saves. 3-2 win over these Dallas Stars when they met earlier in the season. On the other side of things, here's where you know Dallas is kind of, the gas is starting to leak a little bit. The air's coming out of the tires. You go to overtime with the St. Louis Blues, you barely win 2-1. And what are they doing here when it comes to the tread running off the tires? The air's coming out of the tires and the tread's coming off them here. They got Ottinger going for the 6th straight start. Now, he's played well. He's got the Stars on 3 of their last 5 games have been losses. And they're struggling to score. They're kind of right back in that position. I don't know about entirely struggling to score, but we'll keep it short. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it moving. This is one you're going to want to write down. Keep your eyeballs drilled on it. Look for these opportunities. Cap playing great. Should be a lot of energy, hostility, Stanley Cup rematches, but the Capitals on a 6th. The Capitals, when the total is a 6, are 36-25. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're on absolute fire, regardless of the Ovechkin thing. If anything, that's a boost that they know they got him coming back and they're still finding a way to win. Like, that could devastate your season. Take a couple losses. They didn't let it get in their way. And they've been fighting hard for it. So I'm going to open up. Give me Washington Capitals, game number 1. And we got a nice little plus 136 price tag that's floating on out there right now. A little Dallas and a little plus 136. Find me at BetStamp. You can find me at Mikey Money on BetStamp to see the actual, I'm just kind of quoting off some of the lines that are out there now, but you'll see the actual lines. And it's the Sharp Bettors special. Not that we spend a lot of time looking at where the cash flow is coming in, but sometimes there's a big picture to be told, and 34% of the bets are on the Capitals, but 81% of the cash sitting there on I can't say that. They're a rival with the Flyers. I can't say that, but the Washington Capitals. They're not ours. They're the. What did I put in there? Wrong spot. Let's go. Whoops. All right. So we gave you guys that little 7-3 trend there, supporting this Washington Capitals team. The Capitals, when the total is a 6, that's all you got to remember. Capitals and a 6. Let's roll on to another game. And the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, another Stanley Cup rematch. Big battle, big bruisers on hand for this one. And we got, well, for the Florida Panthers, the best of the best in Sergei Bobrovsky. Not the best effort from a save percentage, but look, Florida's running hot, man. He's got 13-6 record. He's got a 2.87 goals against average. And look, this is low price point because the Florida Panthers can't score right now. That's bottom line what it comes down to. And typically speaking, just high level, and I'll give you some stats behind it. What do we look for when teams are coming off of shutouts, we look for them to fire back. Now, this road trip has not been great for the Florida Panthers. They have lost their last two. It is now their 5th road game in 6 days. But Vancouver and Calgary shut them out. Blanked them. 4-0 and 3-0 respectively. The unders have been flying. But the unders have been flying only because Florida Panthers are not scoring. And, when you look at the other side of things, well, the Edmonton Oilers are scoring. They're 25-10 in terms of their scoring differential. They're plus 15 on their opponents. And they got a nice little 5-game W streak going on. But in that W streak, the only couple, well, their last 3 have been notable. They played Tampa at home, 2-1. They won, obviously. Minnesota on the road, they go into their barn. They busted them up 7-1. Then they played a big battle back at home against the Vegas Golden Knights, and they beat them up 6-3. The Oilers have owned Vegas. Now, I shouldn't say that entirely, but I said it anyways. I'll recant it. I recant that statement. On the other side, though, the Edmonton Oilers are starting Stuart Skinner. Yeah, he's 11-7 on the season, but again, he's battling mediocre numbers: 2.82 goals against average and an 89.7% save percentage. 3 or fewer goals in 6 straight, and so this is where the dilemma comes into play. If you got a goaltender that's stopping everything, and their team is outscoring the opponent on a winning streak, versus a team that's on a losing streak and hasn't scored, how come this line opens up at plus 114? Edmonton's red hot. What's going on? Furthermore, the line continues to drop, making it even more advantageous to bet the Edmonton Oilers. And the public loves the Oilers. 81% of the bets are all over the Oilers right now, but only 55% of the cash. So the way the Sharps are playing this game is they're taking the Oilers on the puck line or the Panthers on the money line. Those are the 2 ways that the Sharps are apparently looking to attack this game. But how about this little guy here? So we already know that we got back-to-back shutout losses. Can't feel good. Not for a team in Florida that's got, Stanley Cup team, scoring galore. They got all the right pieces. They just haven't found a way to put them together. And what happens if you're on back-to-back road losses and your opponent just came off a win and an over? Well, the ugly road dog wins, of course. 8-2 in its last 10. It lines up with where I'm seeing the market movement going towards at this point here. And the Florida Panthers are sitting in there at a plus 1-2 or a plus 110. So after double losses, it's a bounce back opportunity, and it's a funky line. Maybe you're catching the Oilers at a break. I think it's a trap spot. I'm going to take Trisha M's Cats. Try to get to the bank with this one. And Sancho says, Pip knows what's up. Puck line sharps are sharper. The only way I would play the puck line is if I thought that Edmonton was going to blow out the Florida Panthers, and I don't see that happening. JPC says Barkov's not in the morning skate, and yet they're still only at plus 110. It's great update. Irish King says Washington is the better team. Barry, I know, Barry, I know. Maybe it's going to be one of those spots where you just can't get on the right side of them. We got to take a step back from them for a little bit, but there's only 3 games. JPZ. Yeah. Grambling, Southeast Louisiana, under 135. It's now 134.5. Basically no movement, and it's first to 65 wins for our guy JPZ coming in here, giving us that play. Yeah, the puck line is going to come into are they up at the end of this game, and then they get the empty netter? Well, not if they have the better goaltender. That's where I think the struggle comes into play here. It's just a weird line. This is a weird number on this line, and I'm going to take a shot at it. I'm going to fire away at this thing. Again, plus money opportunity. Let's go on to game number 3. Only 3 in the NHL tonight. And that's okay. That's okay because we've got I think, some really nice places carved out here. And we've got the Avalanche and the Canucks. This is an intriguing matchup. What's so intriguing about it? Well, Thatcher Demko is back and ready to attack for the Vancouver Canucks. Confirmed. Struggled to start the season. Only his third start will it be this year. So he's fresh. He's 0-1-1 in his first two starts, so they're not winning. And it was a lower body injury that kind of kept him out of the lineup. 4 more goals in both games that he started. He's got a 4.46 goals against average and an 83% save percentage. For a Vezina Trophy finalist, it's as bad as it gets. And they got the Avalanche rolling into town, and the Avalanche are 4-1 in their last 5. Furthermore, the new lease on life that Mackenzie Blackwood has got out of the ire of the San Jose Sharks, gets himself into the promised land of the Colorado Avalanche, and they're getting healthy. Right? When they started the season, everyone was hurt. They were a free fade until further notice situation. And now they got their players coming back. And they're attacking. And you can see that as evidence that they're 4-1 of their last 5. Not mad at anybody that wants to get involved with the Colorado Avalanche. 2.95 goals against average is Blackwood, 91.2% saving. What's impressive about that is he was playing for that pile of dog shit in San Jose. Blackwood, 37 of 39 saves in his Nashville Predators outing out there with the Colorado Avalanche. Looked great, 95% save percentage. Goalie with a new lease on life comes out there and performs with a team in front of him that's been aggressive and winning. Other side of things, goalie coming back fresh and rested. But this is where I was telling you guys about it becoming underseason. Talked about this last week. This happens. The demarcation, the line in the sand, the date to note is November 27th. So the season starts in October. They get 6 to 8 weeks underneath their belts. And then shit gets real. And when you've got your opponent just went over and you just went over, it's undertime. In fact, as ridiculous and as over and over, they should keep going over. But after November 27th, when they get in mid-season mode, the under's 12-2-3 in its last 17 games. It's 7-0 in its last 7 games, and it's 7-0-3 in its last 10 games. Demko, Blackwood, under. We're going to catch the under 6 in this game. And yeah, it's under season. I'm ready. I'm signed in. I love that 7-0-3 trend out there. November 27th. And now we're going to start seeing a lot more of these kind of point-in-time trends that are going to present themselves as we get more full hockey slates. But the opportunity here for us in this game is that under. RVD 420. I had a local bookie. And the one thing he told me, don't play the casino games on the online sports books. And he told me with his sports book, it's offered. So why not? He said the weighting system. They can automate the weighting system. So we already know that the house tends to have the advantage anyways across all sports. They play long enough, or all books, all table games. Play long enough, you're going to lose. And they weight them on the back end. So it isn't true sitting there at the casino. Talk about automation galore. But that being said, who hasn't had a couple cocktails and said, you know what? Let me get in there and open up the old sports book and see if I can't just run a quick $1,000 in blackjack. I may have been there. I may have done that on more than one occasion. I don't want to get into that story. That's a different story for a different time. Time and place is what we have to recognize here. And this is not the time nor the place to tell that story that I was just about to share. Get us right off of YouTube. Anyways, we'll roll on. Let's move into the NBA. Let's take a peek. Not at the Sixers game. You know, the Sixers, look, as bad as it is for the Sixers with losing Embiid to the sinus fracture. Then they lose McCann, I mean, he's the only guy that was doing anything out there. I wouldn't be surprised if that dummy tore his ACL doing his TikTok dancing, to be honest with you. And you know what? You ice it up real good. You take a bunch of Advil so that you can fall on the court when you're warming up and go, oh, it doesn't feel right. And that way you don't void your contract. They were getting better. They were 3-1 of their last 4. But they got this lowly Hornets team coming to town. That scares me. Or they're going into Charlotte. That scares me a little bit. This line's sitting only at 2. With all that money steaming in on the Sixers. Probably the Sixers win outright spot now. First game without the star players. What do? You play on. I'm going to look at the Heat and the Pistons game. The Pistons. This line opened up at 3.5. It's moved to 4.5. We have 88% of the bets and 82% of the cash coming in here on the Miami Heat. We have 79% of the bets and 78% of the cash on the over. It's only gone up a point. Heat, well, what do you want to say? Here's the first thing I'll say. This is their last game until Friday. So they got no reason to hold anything back. And they've been winning. Now, define the degree of winning. They go into Boston, they get busted up. 108-89. Shout out to Nasty Nate. Certainly the Celtics smashed. They had 4 straight home games. They beat up the Lakers 134-93. Beat them up. Folks expected at 3.5 points. They go out there and win by damn near 40. Over 40. Then they play the Suns. Now this is when Beal, Booker, and Durant start coming back. They bust them up 121-111. Then they play the best team in the league in the Cleveland Cavaliers. They bust them up 122-113. And they firebomb the Toronto Raptors 114-104. And the Pistons stay. Still. They had a tough go of it. They had a Boston game. They got busted up. Then they go to the Knicks. They did beat the Knicks. They go back to Boston. And they got busted up. Now remember this. Here's another write-down factor. When a team plays at Boston and then goes to the Knicks, this is a fact. You can look it up. They end up beating the Knicks if they just played at Boston. Conversely, if they just played the Knicks and now they go to Boston, they take the L's. I can't believe the scheduling spot, and I can't believe that this was a miss, that we didn't just crush and go a big 3-0 in that situation. And I don't know what that pivot is. I think it's regionally, and maybe it has a lot to do with if you're a Western Conference team and you're flying across country, Madison Square Garden's a big one, and then, the Celtics are big teams. I don't know. Maybe that's why they get they're all behind it. But Tobias Harris will be out for the Pistons. Kevin Love's probable. Everybody else looks pretty good to go. Then what we got ourselves here is a couple of buy on and sell positions here. We sell on the Pistons. Teams off a game with less than 9 3-pointers made in the first half of the season, and their opponent has more than 2 days rest, are 1-22, and they're getting busted up. Rested opponent comes in. You're not making a lot of threes. The opponent just comes out there and starts running away with it. It's 1-22 in those spots. Fade away. How did the Pistons do when they got a team that they beat the last time out and they're identified as home dogs? So that's kind of the funny factor, right? If they just beat them, why are they a home dog? They're 1-7 in those spots. And they're losing by almost 7 points a game. Then we look at the Heat. When they go on the road and they got multiple days of rest, they're 14-2 and they're busting teams up by 11 points a game. Good enough for me. I was a little apprehensive about the 4.5. But because they've got the rest factor coming up, I'm good with it. They're coming in rested. They got no reason not to give it everything they've got in this game out there. And they're showing trends that they cover the spread by over 10 points a game. You got a situation where Detroit's losing by over 10 points a game against the spread, and the Heat are winning by 10 points a game against the spread. What are we missing? What are we missing? We're not missing anything. We're going to take a shot. We're going to take Miami. Shout out to AOD then. He says, F the Heat. Okay. I mean, look, we can't all be on the same sides all the time, right? What fun would that be? But I'm going to give that one a go, and then let's roll on and talk about this next game here. Just trying to keep a brisk pace for you guys. Lots of things to do tonight, lots of games to play, but want to make sure you have plenty of time to get those games in and get them played. And I'm going to roll. Look, Suspect City. The Raptors cover a lot of spreads. They're a damn good spread covering team. They open up as minus 1.5 point favorites at home against the Bulls. They're now plus 1.5. 65% of the bets and 57% of the cash sitting on there. Banging away on this Bulls side of things. At first pass, I wanted to jump in on the Raptors. I just felt like this is a Raptors spot. I couldn't quite. The number's very low. Very low. But the Bulls aren't really world beaters. And then you look at the total, it's dropping. 240.5 is going down to 239.5. You have 62% of the bets and 63% of the cash. You guys know the deal. There's no sense in belaboring the fact it's a moose spot. It's taking his overs and his threes. A little pricey at minus 130s and 135s out there. But overall, performance dictates he's been missing. He didn't just get it in his last 2 games, and he was running hot. So this will be now. This is where line functionality. This is where the experience of starting to read some of these lines comes into play. He was getting great plus money, and he was making everything. Then the books adjusted. They were getting minus 140s. There was a minus 158 the other day. He's missed it 2 games in a row, and he's sitting at minus 135. You got a huge number in 2-4. The biggest number, I believe, on the card tonight. Yeah, it's a boost spot. It's a standalone spot. Before that, he was 7 of 8 on that number against the over 1.5 threes. The Raptors don't cover shit when it comes to beyond perimeter. And Poeltl's really the only guy that's going to do it. With Scotty Barnes out, has to focus on rebounds. That means Boot's going to be wide open. This might be the ladder spot tonight. We might have to look at laddering this thing here. Let me see. Speaking of it, while we're here, while we're parked on it, let me take a peek. I don't know if I'll be able to see the 3.0. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So it's starting to catch steam. It's catching steam. Steamboat Willie. 3+ goes to plus 170. 4+ goes to plus 450. And then 5+ is off the charts at plus 900. So right there you can see. There's the old ladder move. Right? When we try to identify where's that book showing its vulnerability, the book's showing its vulnerability between 4 and 5. They don't care if you want 5. They show you. Look at these small incremental gains. Now, I know they're not small, but plus 170 goes to plus 450. Just under $3 a gain. The 450 goes to, at 5, is over $4.50 a gain. And then 6 on up, it's just stupid. And they're not even giving you a line in some of those spots. So the alternate, take the 2.5, maybe take the 3.5, along with your 1.5s. And if you want to sprinkle on top, I would stop. I would stop at 3.5. I would consider the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. I'll give you guys the 1.5 official. Again, check it out over on BetStamp. You'll see if I do add any extra action in that spot there in the NBA. But that's kind of it. The only other spot that I was going to talk about, and some of you guys had mentioned this Clippers-Jazz game, 64% of the bets and 63% of the cash have come in on the Clippers. I'm sorry, let me start that over. 64% of the bets and 63% of the cash on the Clippers. The lines come down 2 points. Collective across the board. I mean, look, Clippers are on the shit list for a reason. Bottom line. And it was tough for me. I looked at it. They should handle the Jazz, but they're on a 3-game losing streak. They lost back-to-back games at home to Minnesota and Houston. Then they go into Denver at altitude. They get thumped. Now they come back. They've had 2 days of rest. And the Jazz are 1-4 in their last 5 games. So they should absolutely go out there and dominate things. But they're going to cover 7.5. The one ad I may make, Where did it go? Where are my notes in this one? One ad I might make. I'm debating where that line's going to bottom out for the Clippers. It's coming down. I think it's coming down because the books, the sharps are in the know that they're probably not going to cover that big lofty number. But add the Harden points to it. If you take Harden's points 20 plus, and you take the Clippers down to like 3.5s or 4.5s, you're going to find that number sitting right at even money. So you take an extra you take 2 possessions off the game, and that's enough that I might get involved. It concerns me with the backdoor with the Jazz. Now, the Clippers are 9-6 at home. I feel like they're 0-72. It feels like I just take a beating every time they go into that beautiful new stadium and they take a busting. And the Jazz are 2-8 in their last 10. They're 3-9 on the road. And then the Harden factor is just the fact that he stepped his game up without Leonard. You know, you look overall at what he's been doing out there, and kind of down. He's kind of had a downgrade on him right now. Barely got to 15 or less in his last 2. But, 20 points in the 3 Clippers games before that. Should be able to get to that 20-point number. That's kind of the number that I think he gets between 18 and 20. So keep that in mind as you're looking to potentially consider a player parlay prop side combo. I think that's a good look there. 3.5 or 4.5, depending on what you can get with Harden. Nothing official for me on that one. Just a little lean for you guys when it comes to the NBA in the association. Big card, so I wanted to stretch it out a little bit. What's going on in the chat? Let's see what's going on. Chosen one says Voos is ruled in. Screwed me. Screwed me last week. All right. Let's roll on. Just one college basketball game. Just one. Hard to find a motivational spot, especially on a Monday with some of these guys. They're still young guys. They still got some minimal schooling requirements now, being that they're on break. But at the same time, the one spot I wanted to fade was Citadel. After I was leaning on Citadel the other day at that plus 1.5, they're now plus 4.5. They got busted up. And you got all this money coming in. 83% of I think the Citadel, I haven't seen this written down anywhere, but I think Citadel, I think that's the sharp chaser's dream. And I don't know why. I don't know what you like about that program. They're fucking terrible. Overall, when you look at what they're doing on the season, it's brutal. I mean, yeah, they're 5-4, but they haven't played anybody. And now here they're in the same situation, a Central Arkansas team that's 2-8 against the 2-8 in its last 10, and they're laying 4.5. And everybody's betting on them. 83% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the Citadel, and the line hasn't moved. My thought is they get thumped. Another little eyeball focus here is Cal Baptist, middle 10. I did hear the sharp report came in, and it was on this middle 10 side of things. And look at the numbers. Look how this validates. 85% of the bets, the public, are hammering Cal Baptist right now. The line opened up at plus 4.5. What did it do? Well, it's going to plus 5. So the public's clobbering the dog. But 57% of the bets, more than half, have come in on the middle 10 side of things. And that's why the number's shifting. So middle 10 kind of caught some eyeballs. Not enough for me to want to get involved with this team either. 7-3 for sure. Cal Baptist, 5-5 on the season. Middle 10 playing at home. You would think has the advantage in this situation. They play, I don't know. I just got to wait and see a little bit more out of Middle 10. Middle 10, when they get like deep into conference play, will be a team that I back quite a bit. They're just 1-1 as a favorite. They play better in the dog roll. But Cal Baptist is 0-3 when it comes to that dog roll. So for what it's worth. But the spot I'm looking at is at 8 p.m. I got Oral Roberts and Texas Tech. Big number. What do we do when we look for the big numbers? We look for the motivation spot, then we cut that number in half by taking a half bet. Oral Roberts and Texas Tech. You have 75% of the bets on Oral Roberts. You only have 60% of the cash. But the line isn't moving. And you got a total that's moved up a point, 147.5 to 148.5. Lofty number. Not too surprised by it being a lofty number and the fact that you have 67% of the bets, 75% of the cash, and with a 27.5, yeah, it's going to be points. The question is, does Texas Tech get to 100? And if they get to 100, just how many points do we see when it comes to the Oral Roberts side of things here? And it was a tricky card to find motivation in. Where was the motivation, I found? Well, they just lost to Texas A&M at home to Texas Tech 8 days ago. They sat around. They thumped DePaul. DePaul might start to be back on that sell train. Remember we talked about DePaul to start the season? We faded them. They almost won us that plus 950 outright. Then they started kind of getting their shit back together. They got that new coach. They got that new style. They brought in some players from the portal. But they're still DePaul. And Texas Tech thumped them 76-62. Covers that lofty spread at 13.5, but it wasn't so glorious at the end. Then they're a 1-point favorite against Texas A&M. And they lose by 5. And now they're sitting, stewing for 8 days that we're Texas Tech. Flip side, they got Oral Roberts coming in at down 1-4 in their last 5 games. Not playing great. Probably is an understatement. Maybe an understatement for those guys. This is a mismatch. This is a game where Texas Tech opens up pissed, focused, aggressive, and just a better team than what we're going to see on this Oral Roberts side of things. Oral Roberts gets the public's love because a couple of years ago with the run they had in the tournament here. You got firepower. You got pace that Texas Tech likes to run. And again, you got a situation where you got Oral Roberts doesn't play shit for defense. They're terrible. Good enough for me. I'm going to take that first half with these guys. Again, I thought just a motivation spot. Yeah, there's a couple of injury factors that are kind of looming. I haven't seen the official on it yet, specifically in Toppin. But the front court for Oral Roberts is suspect. They don't play much defense out there. I mean, opponents are blowing up on them, getting over 70 points. They lost to Mississippi 100-68. That's the game profile I think this game matches up to. And I think it's going to get ugly. It's going to be ugly early, but they're going to win by 30. I think it's more likely they win by 16. You can catch 16.5s out there. Catch a little bit of the Texas Tech 16.5. And there's a minus 110 on that thing still. There's a minus 110. Texas Tech minus 16.5. That's a first half number. Again, just trying to find a team that's looking for motivation, that's got a mismatch in size and capability. And yeah, I think the Golden Eagles at 3-7 come in here and get busted up. And Texas Tech is good and pissed off and just aggressive enough to do it with the way that they play ball. So we'll take that first half. We'll lay the 16.5. We'll see if we can't get that to the cash. And then there was Monday Night Football. Oops. And then there was Monday Night Football. 2 games tonight. Schedule makers really got everybody on their toes. We got Friday games after Thanksgiving. We got Monday nights at doubleheaders, 3/4 of the season. But it's made it fun because we get more football. We get to stretch it out a little bit more. And man, I wrote some numbers down here. Joe Public's been clobbering this year. Where was the number? Let me see if I can find it. Dogs. 66 and 154 straight up. That's 30%. That's the 4th worst season in NFL history. The favorites are 154 and 66. It's the most profitable since 2009. That's crazy. If you're a dog and under better, you're hurt. But the teasers have been the sanctuary. If you tease those dogs up and take an extra 6 points on them because of the competitive balance in the league, it's been a profitable strategy for me. So how about this? Teams that are getting more than 60% of the spread bets are 81 and 63 against the spread on the season. Unbelievable. Teams getting more than 64% of the spread bets are 69 and 46. And guess where we got some of these numbers? The Falcons and the Vikings. Both teams receiving more than 64% earlier today. Puts them in line for that 69 and 46 number. Now the question is, how do we attack? How are we going to go beat this one down? How are we going to get paid? How are we going to get paid? Let me update my notes here. Look at my picks here in BetStamp. You can find me at Mikey Money, BetStamp. See some of these plays before we get into them. All right. First game I'm looking at here. Let's see. Give you guys the exact numbers here. The Bears and the Vikings open up at +1 for the Vikings. Now -7. That +1 was a way early look ahead line when there was issues with Sam Darnold. 78% of the bets and 77% of the cash have come in on the Vikings. There's that number we talked about. Then we look at the total. It's dropped 3.5 points, 2.5 points, 46 down to 43.5. Reverse line movement because we had 82% of the bets and 70% of the cash coming in on the over, and it's come down. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Why? When you think about it. All right, so let's talk about the motivation and how you try to play this thing. First of all, if you're the Vikings, you just saw the Lions are sitting there leading the conference, leading the division, lead. But there's blood in the water, and the Sharks are circling. Where is that blood in the water? Well, we just talked about David Montgomery. So who's going to come in there and take care of it? And with all not being a loss here, they're 11-2, the Vikings. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, what concerns me is once you're officially eliminated from the playoffs, it's like that collective exhale. There's no more stress. There's no more pressure. Since they've changed offensive coordinators in the Chicago Bears land, they've really let Caleb Williams open up. Not sure if it's too many points at the 7. I'll give you guys some trends when I kind of look at these things and how it works out. But, if you look at this one, Minnesota's been dominating Chicago. It's 6 of the last 7 meetings. There was a Thanksgiving overtime game in there, but they've been lower scoring. Some 12-10s, some 19-3s in the equation. And Chicago, second best record for unders this season. Why? Because they got a rookie quarterback and they can't do shit. So the question now becomes, how many points does Chicago put on the board? And they're a record under team. I tipped the hat when I said I'm going to roll in here and take some teaser action. I'm taking Minnesota, and I got the under 49.5. Minnesota to win, under 49.5. Little teaser action. Then you look at some of these other numbers. We'll go by the numbers here. Where'd they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? There it is. Chicago 1-12 straight up, 2-11 against the spread when they're up. When they're on the road off a game with less than 150 passing yards. That just kind of goes to talk about exactly the scenario here. Team can't do shit on offense. So while the touchdown might be a little too much delay in a big divisional game, by incorporating that teaser, I think we got a good look. Also, keep this in mind. And this is, let me see if I jumped in on this. See how I played this one. I told you guys my notes a little out of sync today. Yep. I added so this is a little parlay action between these two games. I added Minnesota in the first half and Atlanta in the first half. Moneyline parlays. I got a +113 in the situation. And a lot of it specifically for this half of that 2-leg parlay. Minnesota's kicking the shit out of teams in the second quarter. 33-12 scoring differential advantage in the last 4 games. They're allowing only 2.4 points per game in the second quarter over their last 5 games. The blood's in the water. The motivation's there. Why take the foot off the gas of a Chicago team? Maybe the back door opens up, but just give me the favorite in the Vikings on the first half money line, and I parlayed it with Atlanta. And the reason I kind of jumped in on this Atlanta side, we'll start there with Atlanta, and then I'll come back and read some numbers and some trends for you guys there. The reason I jumped in on that, well, again, it just comes down to kind of scoring differentials out there. When you look at it overall, road favorites, best number in football, 56% cover rate across the season. And then if you look at it, point differential. Atlanta, 14.5 points allowed in the first half, second most in the league. And Vegas, 12.5 points allowed in the first half. Now you're looking at it going, well, that shows a point differential in favor of Vegas. It does. But Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, more missed practices, Desmond Ridder comes in here. These guys just get hurt coming out of the fucking locker room. And I know with those favorite numbers, the confidence that Atlanta starts strong, right there for me. Wouldn't be, the twos have gone to 2.5s and 3s, even 3.5s. So I popped that parlay in there to kind of create a plus money scenario with both teams having to win the first half. So both favorites having to win the first half does scare me a little bit. But man, how about this one? Monday road favorites. The old Monday road favorite scenario. When you're the road favorite on a Monday and you've got more wins than your opponent on the season, so you're, in theory, the better performing team that's outproducing the other team in points. More wins, outproducing, road favorite. 18-2 straight up, 18-2 against the spread. 10-10 to the total. So buyer beware in the total on this one. But 18-2. And it all makes sense. With a backup, a third string, or even a fourth string quarterback coming in for the Raiders, makes a ton of sense to jump in there and take a look at this Atlanta Falcons side of things here. How about this one? Bad teams. Been a dog on average this season. So the bad team that's a dog on average. If the opponent had more than 2 goal-to-go scenarios last game. So they're getting in the red zone, and you're a bad team that's a dog a lot. The dog a lot is 3-32 against the spread. It's the margin, 7.5 points that jumped off the page for me there, over a tutty. And if you want some validation behind it, well, here's the validation. This scenario was in place for 3 teams this week. The first is the Falcons. The second was the Cardinals. They busted up the Patriots. The third was the Cowboys as a dog. And they busted up the Panthers. So we kind of got a little intersecting scenario there that tells us to fade the bad team, play on the good team that is the road favorite. And that became a Atlanta minus 5.5 spot for me for the full game. So we got the teaser and the under with the Vikings. We've got Atlanta money line, Vikings money line first halves. Then we've got the minus 5.5 on Atlanta. So that's 3 wide. The only thing that's left, touchdown prop. Of course we got one of those for the primetime games. We've been buying, we've been making money. I'm going to go right to it. I got Aaron Jones parlayed with Brock Bowers, and it's a plus 459. Aaron Jones, touchdowns in 11 touchdowns in 10 games versus the Bears. He loves beating them up. He loves to produce. That goes back to some time with Green Bay as well, of course. But he's comfortable. He's familiar with that style and that program. And a team that should go out there and kick the piss out of him. It's going to be a ground game. You're going to be handing the rock off to Aaron Jones. Let him go bust it up and across the middle here. He's ready to roll. And then the other guy that I jumped in there with was Brock. And look, from a tight end perspective, it's usage and opportunity. Like, the thing that scares me a little bit about the Falcons is they're trying to figure out who the hell their guys are. Like, why you're not throwing to Kyle Pitts and he's not on the radar. Like, this is a weird program for me, but I like Brock. I think there's an opportunity from the tight end perspective where they're on that goal line. They drive it down the field. We're not going to see a lot of deep passes. We're going to see a lot of chunk runs. We're going to see a lot of check down passes because that's the nature of the way these teams play football. And, push comes to shove. I want to get involved with this tight end. He's got a great price tag on himself alone. But I just think it's a great opportunity for us. I like Drake London. I'm involved. I like some Drake London. I like some Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins specifically to get under his passing yards here, but the Falcons just don't run a lot. The fifth fewest plays across the NFL in terms of teams that just a tough spread. I mean, I'm on board with the spread. I just can't quite get there when it comes to some of these chalkier, package guys when it comes to how they roll out there. I like this play. I think it's a great plus money spot, and that's good enough for me to close the show. So we will do just that. We are at 7:07. I appreciate you guys being patient. You can check out the action over at BetStamp, Mikey Space Money. I think it's Mikey Space Money. Let me look. Nope, it's Mikey No Space Money. Well, close. 6 and 1, half dozen the other. But make sure you do check it out because anytime I add plays, you'll find them there. It's a full card that we laid out for you guys. We're right in that realm of 10 plays. I think we got some great price tags on these things, and we got plenty of time that's going to start. So, Juggler 23. Gonna hop on. What's he hopping on? Juggler 23, something 20 and 2 to the under. Which one's the under? Did I miss it? Am I late? Monday road favorites are unders. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. You go on the road, you're a favorite, you should be winning. We saw that the favorites are winning. You just want to get the hell out of Dodge, let that clock tick down, and get back to work. Get back home and get back to work. That makes sense to me. I can see that. I can certainly see that. Shout out to all of you guys that are rocking with us today. Appreciate you hanging out with us here and doing what we do. It's time to go get paid. It's time to get to the business of cashing, winning tickets. And who knows? At 8 p.m. over on Kick on the Sports Money Network in a collab with Razor Sharp Picks. You may see literally the game. We got a lot of sports to cover tonight, so it only made sense that we take a look at it. If you guys are looking for a live stream tonight, you want the best in the business to give you that live stream cash, you know where to find us, guys. Good luck with all your action tonight. Make sure you guys do tune in to the morning steam. Monday to Sunday, 9 a.m. We ain't messing around. Hashtag Dave Matt. Hashtag not like us. Hashtag Sports Money. Thank you guys all for checking in tonight. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you again tomorrow on behalf of Sports Money. Enjoy your Monday evening, and we'll see you guys soon.